Okay, we'll try this. I think this is going to work fine. Back with a different camera angle, I suppose that's the big, huge change today. I thought it would be good to do this while I'm working through something, because what's just come up for me is I just off a call, more or less, intro call with a potential client, and yeah, they're not like ICP. They're not an ideal customer profile. At the same time, I wondered, and this is something that comes up a bit with agencies, it's like I still feel there's a way for me to help, and I kind of want to, because they're good people, they've got a good business, and I think for me, it depends really. My experience would say that you do have to be, you're wise to be tight on this, as in don't stray too far from your ICP. A client of mine would kind of think along the lines of, look, for every 5 clients, he's happy to have one that doesn't tick all the boxes, but the rest really should. And that call just made me think it might be interesting to just even talk through this for myself and see what comes up. Because part of me is saying there's plenty of reasons why I shouldn't work with this client, but the other part of me is saying there's many more reasons why I could. So anyhow, we're not even at that point. I don't know. They may do the, as I've alluded to before, they might do a discovery session, which would be great. That's the initial session I have with people to really help me understand if I can actually help someone or not. And for them to get a feel for how I work and see if they even want to partner with me. So, client today, I suppose the ideal client for me is essentially, it's a couple of things. So, I suppose there's things that I can find on the internet about them, and then there are things that I need to determine through qualifying. So, team size. Probably less than 20 people. It's not probably, it's unlikely that I can work with someone that's more than 20-25 people. I don't think there's an exact figure on that. Equally, I probably am not that well suited to someone that is on their own entirely. So you have to have an employee, so it's essentially 2 to 20 is what I use. Ideal, it's probably a little bit tighter than that. I think you could go say 4 to 10, probably is the sweet spot for me. But I'm not too hell-bent on sticking to that one specifically at the moment. MRR, you probably need to be at least 25-30k a month. If you're less than that, again, it's not the end of the world. I just personally would say you may not be able to afford someone like myself in terms of a financial commitment month on month. So it's a more of a financial piece or a budgeting piece. And then number 3, really it then starts to be, so there's 3 and 4 are again, not required, but becoming increasingly common. So 3, the type of agency. So generally speaking, most of my clients are paid. I would then bucket web design / development and creative into one. So there's paid media agencies, and then there's the creative. And I don't have any, I think if I put SEO into that second bucket as well, that would probably be fair. And then number 4 is the founder themselves. So the founder themselves, most likely this is their first business or first successful business, and they've been operating it for at least 2 or 3 years. And I say at least 2 or 3 years, it just based on the first 3 to 4 points I just round off, it's unlikely that someone will be in the business for less than that. And if they are, and they tick the rest of the boxes, that's fine. So that gives you an idea of, I suppose, broadly what I'm looking at. And then the stuff that is harder to qualify for, or that you need to speak to someone to, is, I suppose, it's the things like, what are their ambitions? So that call I just got off at the moment, or earlier today, rather, at the moment, I suppose the founders are asking the question, what are our ambitions, or where do we want to take this, or what do we want this to become? And that's a big question. So from my perspective, I can help them even answer that. But it is important because it lays the foundations for where we're trying to go as a partnership, or where I'm trying to help them get to. And then what else? Yeah, I mean, you have to be someone that I get along with, frankly. I mean, I used to work with someone who said they'd never worked with someone they didn't like. And when I first heard that, I didn't really know how to take it truthfully. But to me, it just means, look, there are people who you get on with, there are people who you don't. Whatever the reasons might be, I'm not saying I dislike those people that I don't get on with necessarily. I don't have to work with them. It's a preference. There probably will be people that I currently work with that I maybe don't have a tremendous amount in common with, but I respect that they're a great person and they've got a great business, and I feel like I can help them tremendously. So that's why I work with them. So yeah, that. And is there anything else? Well, I suppose alongside ambition, they have to have a willingness to say, look, I don't know what I'm doing in places, or I'm not so good at this thing, I want help with this, or I can see myself struggling with this in the future. So again, if I pull this back to the conversation today, one of the founders in particular has a very high level of awareness of what they're good at and not so good at, which made me wonder then maybe, why they haven't made the moves that I suppose a typical agency owner would have made by this point. Which is also part of the reason why I'm quite keen to help them. So I think today what was interesting about it was it's actually a scenario where I can see myself helping them for a short period of time and then probably not needing to necessarily work with them beyond that. Who knows, of course. I felt that way before for clients who you've been working with now nearly 6 months. So yeah, I guess you just need to see. It's difficult for me. I feel there are short-term things for sure that I can do to help people. There are the longer term things that might come up or might be beneficial. The might is something that makes it challenging to sit here today and say I'll help them for the next year. I'm not so sure. And then what else? What else is going on today? Not too much. It's actually quite a nice afternoon in the sense that I was on a walk and talk, or kind of a meeting on the go today, which was nice. And then bar that, just did some exercise, which I've kind of alluded to this, but I think it's probably one of the main benefits to running my own business that I found, and that I think people, well, I don't know if it's the main reason. I think one of the main reasons that people do this is that they think they'll make more money and they'll think they'll have more freedom. And they like the idea of being in control of what they're doing with their own time. The last two are kind of a trap, but the first, they're all a bit of a trap in some ways, because you have to work very hard to probably make a similar amount of money you can make being an employee. But just saying I can go to the gym or go for a run or whatever it is at any time, that's flexibility that I love. So yeah, that was today. And then to the rest of the afternoon is, it's blocked up until I've got a call at 4:30, which is another intro/sales call, which should be interesting. And yeah, for the next, 45 minutes, I'm going to be working on the pipeline. There are a couple of good conversations this morning around, I suppose, following up with people that have either rejected you or passed on the conversation or an offer previously, and trying to add value to them and their business. So it's following up. I suppose it's not this idea of just poking people for the sake of poking them or prodding them saying hello, hello, hello. It's like, hey, I thought of you for this very authentic, genuine reason. Here's something that might be interesting if you're still experiencing the same issues you experienced 3 months, 4 months, 5 months ago when we spoke. So I'm doing a bit of that today. That's probably the main thing for today, actually. The main thing was sending one email to a client, which was very important this morning, which was done. And yeah, the main activity for the afternoon is doing that stuff I just mentioned. So that's kind of it. And tomorrow is a pretty free day, so I'm going to do quite a lot of writing tomorrow for LinkedIn posts, which will be good. And other than that, it's probably just, I need to do a bit of planning. I think I'll do that today as well, maybe this evening for 30 minutes, just plan out the month. So what I like to do is map out when I'm seeing clients before the month starts so that they know what's coming up. So I'll do that today. And yeah, tomorrow's the last day of the month, which means I'll get the invoices ready for February, do that basic admin stuff, tidy up the I suppose the accounting side of things for myself as well, which is pretty straightforward. Let me see if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, I'll talk about this tomorrow, but I'm going to talk through, again, I quite like doing this for myself, selfishly, because it helps me talk through a couple of ideas I have. So I've got something that might be rolling out as a bit of a product, and I might just talk through what that is and how I see it actually helping people. I might do that tomorrow. Depends how the LinkedIn content goes. But yeah, anyway, that's really all that's been coming up for me. So the main thing there that I feel like I took from that quick spiel on clients is just, I feel I probably need to look at my positioning a little bit. Currently, I'm maybe speaking to slightly too wide a range of audience / agency owner still. Equally, I feel like there's becoming almost two buckets of people that I could and almost want to help. So I just need to be mindful of the implications of that. Something to brew over. Okay, I'm going to crack on with sales stuff, and I'll be back tomorrow, I think, to chat about this product idea I have. But until then, I'm going to get my head down and work.